They are two longtime rivals who dominated the National League. Many images of games remain in our memories. Oswalt, Biggio, Bagwell, Pujols. While the faces and names have changed and we are no longer division rivals, the desire to overcome the Cardinals hasn't changed. We resume one of our fiercest rivalries. Astros Cardinals next. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 9-game homestand. It's the first of a 2-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. Familiar feel here. Astros and Cardinals, they've been rivals for so many years and now in different leagues, and the Cardinals bring a vaunted attack to Houston.
Do they ever? Offensively, defensively, and on the pitching side. They've been a great ball club this year. They've just come off a little scuffle with the Texas Rangers, but overall they have maybe been the best team in baseball.
Lucas Harrell will try to slow down this Cardinal offense, which has really been high-powered.
He's got a lot of work to do if he can do that. Lucas Harrell has been good of late. He's had 5 consecutive quality starts. He's been bending that curveball, the slider, the changeup, and trying to keep that fastball down. I think that last part is one of the big keys for Lucas Harrell. If he can keep that sinker down, he gives himself a chance.
So this month, he's gone 1-1 with a 1.73 ERA. He's really whittling down the walks, Ash.
Well, and that's obviously a key. While he does that, obviously you're hoping he's down in the strike zone. 196 the batting average against here in the month, and the ERA has been terrific. Lucas Harrell starting to pitch like the guy that was vying for that #1 slot coming out of spring training.
The St. Louis Cardinals, though, can really do a lot of things well. They lead the league in batting average in the National League and so on down the line.
If you look at statistical categories around Major League Baseball, the Cardinals are going to be at or near the top in just about everything. On that offensive side, they have just been a juggernaut all season long, and they've got some great names in the lineup. On the pitching side, they'll do the same, but you can see offensively, first, and second in some key categories, Cardinals can swing it.
And it all adds up to the best record in baseball. Coming up from Minute Maid Park, Julia Morales has more about the resumption of an old rivalry. She has the next segment in just a moment.
Astros and Cardinals first pitch coming up in just a couple of minutes, and Lucas Harrell will be on the mound for the Houston Astros. He was originally scheduled to pitch on Wednesday, but because of 2 days off this week, Bo Porter was able to mix up the starting rotation a little bit, which Harrell is fine with. He says he wants to pitch on 5 days rather than 6, feels a little sharper that way. Well, he's been sharp in the month of June. The guys in the booth alluded to that earlier, his June numbers very well, and he talked about his mechanics and how he's getting back to the way he was pitching last year. Also, his velocity is up a little bit. Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, said he's finishing pitches, and that's where that comes from. Well, his catcher, Jason Castro, has been very happy with him.
I think he's really gotten back to what was successful for him last year. His sinker has really continued to progress this season. Really, the past month, it's been like it was last year, and I think that's one of the key things for him is to pitch off of is that big sinker that he throws, and he's established that over the past month or so, and that's what he's been trying to build off of. So that's what kind of helps him, be successful. It's like a building block for him.
He's made several adjustments just this season alone. I think he made one in the game during Kansas City. I mean, what does that say about a guy that can just keep working on things and trying to figure out a way?
He's a very athletic guy, and his ability to make those adjustments on the fly is what will continue to make him successful. I mean, when he's able to be in tune with himself and understand maybe what's causing him to be off with his command a little bit and be able to fix that out on the mound, that's really big. And we've seen him a couple times, not necessarily have his best stuff, but throw well and pitch well and have a good outcome. And so that's great to see, that knowing that he's capable of pitching and still being effective without necessarily his best stuff.
Bo Porter also talked about this. He's very happy with it. He said it's not just physical adjustments, it's mental adjustments as well, and how he's been able to pitch with men on base. All right, coming up, Lucas Harrell hopes to use some of that June magic against the St. Louis Cards. Harrell and the Astros welcome in former rivals. Don't go anywhere. First pitch and lineups after the break.
Lucas Harrell getting ready to pitch to Matt Carpenter. And here's the starting lineup. Matt Carpenter at second, Yadier Molina catcher, Carlos Beltran right field, Alan Craig left field, Matt Holliday DH, Matt Adams first base, David Freese third, John Jay center field, Pete Kozma shortstop, ready to go now with Harrell. And he throws it in there for strike one on Carpenter. Carpenter's put together a 5-game hitting streak. He's become the Cardinal leadoff man, and a very successful one, to the tune of a .322 batting average. 6 homers, 27 runs batted in, and a .403 on base average for Matt Carpenter from Galveston, Texas. He's behind 0-2. Matt went to Elkins High School and then TCU. His father Rick was the coach at Elkins. 5-7 for Lucas Harrell with a 4.32 ERA. Hit in the air, and it goes foul left field side. This Cardinal club really dynamic offensively. .274 team batting average, 372 runs scored, leading the pack in the National League in many club offensive categories, and Carpenter's been a big part of that. He has scored 56 times.
What they're not is a big power team. They can swing it, they get on base, like you say, the leader in batting average in their league, same in on-base percentage. They just don't slug a lot of the home runs, but it's translated in scoring a ton of runs for this ball club, and they've pitched so well.
Mike Matheny has watched a very consistent attack in the league, and on-base average as a team at .335. The big number on the Cardinal hitters is .336 with runners in scoring position. Far better than anybody else. Broken bat looper, and Ronnie Cedeno over to his right is able to spear that one. Good play by Cedeno.
Just a nice jump at shortstop. Obviously shattered bat. Lucas Harrell with a very good pitch down out of the strike zone, but a nice play at shortstop. And that defensive side is what the club did not put together Sunday in Chicago.
.353 for Yadier Molina to lead the National League with 5 homers, 41 runs batted in. He bounces one foul. Usually does not bat second. This is a different looking Cardinal lineup tonight. Matt Holliday moved down to the number 5 spot. He has been in a slump lately. Molina plays anywhere with his contact hitting approach. Gaudy numbers for Molina again. That's rolled out to the third baseman Matt Dominguez. He takes care of out number 2. Lucas Harrell is 1-3 in his career against the Redbirds with a 5.91 ERA. Got inside on Molina very effectively there, Ash.
Hey, you can take a hot hitter, and if he's looking for the pitch, you throw the fastball right there, and you put it right on the hands, you got a chance of jamming him anyway. That pitch on the hands time and time again will eat guys up.
Now Carlos Beltran at .305 with 17 homers, 46 runs batted in, gets a mixed reception. That is normally the case for the former Astro. Playing this year at age 36. Beltran still dangerous even at that age. And he's been a big part of this Cardinal attack. Began his career with Kansas City, and the Astros traded for him in the middle of the 04 season. He helped to lead them to the playoffs with a magnificent season, then turned free agent and signed with the Mets. 2-0 pitch to Beltran is ball 3, and it's 3 balls, no strikes to the slugger with Alan Craig on deck.
In the heart of Carlos Beltran's career, maybe as talented a player as there was in the game.
3-1, absolutely.
He could steal the bag, he could hit the home run, gap you to death, play defensively with anybody. Just a terrific talent.
Strike. It's a big pitch to make it 3-2 now. Marvin Hudson's the home plate umpire. Harrell threw that one in 92.
Again, one of those pitches in on the hands. Don't know that it got the plate, but he gets the call nonetheless.
And that is strike three. Lucas Harrell has a 1-2-3 first, and Jake Westbrook will be on the mound in just a moment. Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares only at southwest.com. And by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. The Astros just back from a quick weekend trip to Chicago. They lost 2 of 3, but on the previous homestand, they went 5-2. They come up now, led by Jose Altuve. Altuve's put together a 5-game hitting streak. Jake Westbrook on the mound against him. Throwing ball 1 up and in to a .296 hitting Altuve with 3 homers, 27 runs batted in. Jose is 3 for 7 in his career against the right-hander Westbrook. Westbrook just back from the disabled list a while back. Takes the count to 1-1. He, like Lucas Harrell, can get a lot of ground ball outs. It's 1-2 to Jose Altuve.
That same sinking action, but not as much velocity as Lucas Harrell.
Right-handed batters have quite a challenge against this 6'3" right-hander. They're hitting 198 against him. And he opens with a punch out.
Tough changeup. Same action as the fastball, but took about 6-7 miles an hour off.
Altuve leading off at second base. Brett Wallace DHing. Jason Castro the catcher. Chris Carter in left field. Carlos Pena first base. Justin Maxwell right field. Ronnie Cedeno shortstop. Matt Dominguez third base. Brandon Barnes center field batting ninth. 3-2 for Westbrook. A 1.76 ERA in 8 starts. Wallace just returned today. Now he hits a fly ball left field, and this one is caught on the warning track. And Matt Holliday for out number 2.
Well, if you're playing the contrast game between start of the year and that one pitch seen by Brett Wallace, it's night and day. That is a very nice job taking a pitch on the outside, Black driving it to left. Nothing to show for it, but you just hope he can continue taking that kind of swing.
It's Alan Craig in left field. Holliday's DHing today. Now Jason Castro, man with 22 doubles, tied for 4th in the American League, has 10 homers, 25 runs batted in, and a .275 batting average for the surging Jason Castro. That's ball 1 to Jason. Left-handed hitters are at .349 against Westbrook. Westbrook had 101 major league wins, 97 losses. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. His last outing brought him a win against the Cubs, 4-1. And a very good outing. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no earned runs. Westbrook, a first-round pick of Colorado in '96. That's tapped up the first baseline foul. He was born in Athens, Georgia, through 6 no-hitters and 1 perfect game in high school.
Six no-hitters and 1 perfect game while in high school. I'll bet the other kids on the other clubs were having a great time.
It's one way to get to first-round draft choice status. Castro takes it. It's ball 3, and it's a 3-ball, 1 strike count. This Cardinal pitching staff is solid with the lowest ERA in the National League, 3.21.
And Westbrook has the best ERA among the starters on the Card staff. Just 8 starts coming in.
Ground ball to short. Positioned perfectly, Pete Kozma for a 1-2-3 first for Westbrook. No score after 1.
Out to Minute Maid Park for happy hour at the St. Arnold's Bar from 4:30 to 6 p.m. this Friday. The happy hour will have $5 beer specials at St. Arnold's. Ziegenbach, and Bud Light. Wow, there's a lot of beers in there. Summer Pills, Alyssa. I can name them all. Just come out. Union Station gates open early, so come and join us for a cold one. Brownie.
And there's the view from out there through the archways into Minute Maid Park. They're out in the patio and straightaway center field having a good time as well as they watch inning number 2 of this brief 2-game series. The Astros and Redbirds also will hook up in a 2-game set at St. Louis in a few days. Alan Craig, the left fielder, at .312, has 6 homers, 58 runs batted in. And Craig is off to his usual good hitting attack. There's strike one. With those numbers, he is 3rd in the National League in runs batted in. Put men on base, and this guy becomes even better. .453 with runners in scoring position this year. That's in for a strike, and it's 0-2 for Lucas Harrell. So Mike Matheny's Redbirds trying to shrug off a 3-game losing streak after being swept by the Texas Rangers at home. Still, they're 47-29. 1-2. They're starting an 8-game road trip. They'll go on to Oakland and Anaheim after this brief series. Coming off a 3-4 homestand. They won 3 of 4 from the Cubs. Both these teams are 11-11 in June. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The Cardinals ran into that Texas Rangers club that pitched so well the Astros saw early on in the season, and they certainly rejuvenated that pitching staff in that 3-game set.
It's a liner past a lunging Pena into right field. Solid single by Alan Craig. He becomes the first Redbird base runner.
I guess that's the type of hitting you anticipate when you're seeing a club that leads their league in hitting. Just gorgeous work going the other way.
Now Matt Holliday, and we mentioned that he had not been hitting as well recently, moved down to 5th at .268, 11 homers, 40 runs batted in. Still not anything of a terrible season at all for Matt Holliday. He is currently 0 for his last 11. He went 7 for 26 on the homestand. So not his usual streak of excellence. There's strike one to Holliday, former Colorado Rocky. But he is definitely one of the strong men and top RBI guys on the Cardinal Ball Club. At 33 years old, he drove in 102 last year. He's driven in almost 900 in his career. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Holliday. Cardinals got him in a trade involving Brett Wallace in July of 2009. The Redbirds made it back to the National League Championship Series last year after winning a couple of World Series in recent seasons. That's into right field. A hit for Holliday, charged by Maxwell, and it's first and second, nobody out for Matt Adams.
This pitch left up by Lucas Harrell out over the plate, and another instance where the Cardinals show this ability to just line it the other way. Very gorgeous hitting.
Well, with the Cardinals on this trip to American League cities now, they get the chance to use the DH for 3 series in a row. And that may mean more playing time for Matt Adams. Although Adams is not DHing in this game, he's at first base, hitting .314, 4 homers. He's driven in 16. Harrell delivers a strike. Lucas could use one of his patented double play balls right here. He's had 16 of those. Tied for the American League lead. Adams lays off it, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count with David Freese on deck.
What Lucas does so well is simply get ground balls. There is nothing that he does better when he's on his game down in the strike zone.
Adams swings at one. It comes up empty, and it's 1-2. He gets a lot of movement. The Cardinals got a lot of looks last year at Lucas Harrell. He made 5 starts against them last season. He won 3 of those and lost a couple. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count now.
That was the changeup from Lucas as he drops it in the dirt. And that changed part of his off-speed assortment here in the month of June. Boy, he's been so good in that regard. Off-speed pitches, a 111 batting average against, and slugging. That says the hits that have been gotten against him on the off-speed pitches have been nothing but singles earlier in the season. Numbers nowhere close. Here in June, he would love to maintain that success.
Now on 2-2, it's a foul ball by Adams. Well, the Cardinals, with their .618 winning percentage, stand atop the major leagues, but they're only 1 game ahead of Pittsburgh, 2.5 in front of Cincinnati. That's quite a pace being set by the top 3 in the NL Central. Ground ball slowly hit. Altuve with the toss. Cedeno flashes across and turns a 4-6-3 double play. Well, the ball wasn't hit hard, but Adams is slow. And Altuve got to it with that underhand toss. He led Cedeno to the base. Ronnie took it right on over for a 4-6-3 double play.
Ronnie was getting out of the neighborhood. I want to take a peek and see if he hangs in there, maintains the area code. It's very close, and players are so gifted with the speed of their feet that they can get that play done.
Alan Craig looking back as he goes to third base on the double play. 2 outs now for David Freese. Freese at .281 with 4 homers, has driven in 24. He's a .343 lifetime hitter against Houston. Strike 1 for Lucas Harrell. And Harrell, coming into this game, has thrown the lowest percentage of strikes in the American League by starting pitchers, 59.2%. But he has been improving in that regard in recent starts. Had some games earlier this year. He had 5 walks in 4 1/3 innings here against Oakland. He walked 6 in 5 innings here against the Angels May 9th. Lately, much better at limiting the bases on balls. Doug Brocail has liked the recent trend of Lucas Harrell.
The irony is that he also walked 6 in the last start he made against the Cardinals. 25th of September last year.
Well, the Redbirds have some pretty gaudy on-base averages. Carpenter at .403, Molina .397. So on down the line for these Redbirds. Freese takes it. He's worked the count to 3-1 with John Jay on deck. Freese had a rough month of April, hitting .163 with no homers, 4 runs batted in 49 at bats. But then in May he turned the page and had 3 consecutive multi-hit games. He takes it and it's ball 4. Runners at first and third now and 2 outs for John Jay.
As you go through that list of names with the Cardinals, Brownie, for me, most valuable player on the best team to this point in the season in Major League Baseball, maybe St. Louis Cardinals, is Yadier Molina. He has just done it on both sides of the game and done it as well as anybody can.
He really has been unbelievable, and as a catcher is so influential on the things that his team does. There's a lot of support being written about for Paul Goldschmidt of Arizona, but it's hard to override your pick, Ash. Jay takes a look at it. It's strike 1 to him. 247 for Jay, 4 homers, 32 runs batted in. Normally he is a top of the order hitter, but his on base average currently is .326. So it would seem to be with merit that he's been moved down, and Carpenter has just seized that leadoff job. 1-1 to Jay. Molina's just having an incredible year so far.
And you talk about Molina there, and he just deserves so much credit. But there's last year's MVP voting. Buster Posey, of course, winning it. Ryan Braun Andrew McCutchen, Yadier Molina. That's a great conversation with those guys. A lot of people had talked about Molina, but right at the end, Buster Posey seemed to surge ahead. A couple of catchers mixed in that group. Guys that can swing the bat and play deep.
Jay with a bouncer. Dominguez throwing to Altuve for the force on Freeze. It's no runs, 2 hits, 2 left, and no score after 1.5.
Astros take on Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, and the LA Angels of Anaheim. That's a 3:10 start. Be sure to get to Minute Maid Park early, as 10,000 fans will receive a white home replica jersey courtesy of Champion Energy Services. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS to get your tickets now.
There you get a look at it. Bottom of the second now, no score. And it's Chris Carter to lead it off. Carter on Sunday went 4 for 5, had 3 doubles, drove in 2. Westbrook misses, and there's ball 1 to a .233 hitter. Carter has 15 homers to lead the Astros. He's driven in 40 runs. Really doing some great things with the bat lately. 2 balls, no strikes. John Maley's the hitting coach, and he said this isn't something recent that we're working on. We've been working on this type of hitting approach since February.
It's funny how it goes. You work on it, you work on it. Sometimes you might forget what you're working on, and then a guy has something click in. And for Carter, it's been evident here over the last 4 ball games that that right field side has become a bigger part of what he's been doing.
Boy, hasn't it though? Dramatic improvement. Now 3 balls, 1 strike to Chris. Westbrook has walked 22 in 52 innings. The Astros are well aware of that number. And there's another walk. Leading off an inning, and they have looked at that number, and they've looked at, of course, the usual videotape of Westbrook and felt that if they can select their pitch and let some of these other ones go, they can get into some favorable accounts and draw some walks and do some hitting tonight.
You know, I mentioned, Brownie, that Westbrook leads among the starters of the Cardinals in ERA. He doesn't have nearly the number of starts some of the others have, but at 176, best ERA among the starters. And yet that whip, because of the walks you talk about, worst among the starters, a very incongruous pair of numbers. How about that?
Wow.
I just went back to school. Little math went on for me.
Dropped an incongruous on us.
Yeah.
Carlos Pena, ball 1. That word, by the way, will be forever banned from this booth. But we had to get it in once.
Well, I thought you told me I had to find a way to get that word in tonight.
You worked it in.
Nice.
8 homers, 24 runs batted in for Pena, and a .289 career average against Westbrook with 6 doubles. Also has 4 long balls against Westbrook. Bunts, and it's a beauty. Westbrook bare hands and throws him out. He had to do everything just fine to do it, and it winds up being a sacrifice, even though Pena had been hoping for a base hit. Carter to second.
Not a bad idea. Move the runner if you don't get the hit. I'm sure he was thinking about getting the hit, and that was a good bunt. We've seen some times this year where that easily would have been a base hit. Westbrook on it quickly.
That was a good play by the pitcher, but Pena had ideas. At first and second, nobody out. Now Carter, after the sacrifice bunt, is hoping Maxwell can deliver him. 237, 1 homer, 6 runs batted in for Justin, who's on a 3-game hitting streak. That's strike 1 to J-Max. He went 4 for 11 in the Chicago series. The Astros had a sloppy loss on Sunday. They got waxed at Wrigley Field 14-6. They made 2 errors. There were other plays they did not make that were not errors. Good one to put quickly in the rearview mirror, because this stretch of games coming up is more challenging than the one they've just had. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Jordan Lyles, the starter that just took it on the chin because of that poor defense. I thought the numbers really didn't reflect the way things could have gone for Jordan on Sunday.
What was impressive was the way he handled it, his demeanor on the mound.
He's a man.
Bouncer slowly hit, charged, and Cosma makes the throw. 2 outs.
Yeah, it was reflective of a guy that is a leader of a pitching staff. I mean, that type of persona on the hill.
Other guys would be stomping around the mound, snorting about the errors, misplays. Ronnie Cedeno now apparently will come in for even more time at shortstop with the demotion of Marwin Gonzalez to AAA Oklahoma City yesterday. Cedeno at 250 with 1 homer has 11 runs batted in. He was with the Cardinals when spring training started. They released him and the Astros signed him. Jake Elmore has been elevated along with Brett Wallace from AAA Oklahoma City to the Astros for this game tonight. And Jake will share some time at shortstop with Ronnie. There's strike one.
Of course, we recently saw Elmore come up when Altuve lost his grandmother. Elmore played and played very well at second base and with the bat. And one of the questions running around is, can he play shortstop? Because offensively, he looks like a guy that can get it done.
Yes. That's hit in the air, foul.
So we're going to find out how well he can play at shortstop. We'll get some good looks at Jake Elmore.
Wallace and Elmore arrived today. Marwin Gonzalez headed for Oklahoma City, and Wade LeBlanc designated for assignment. As the Astros go back to a 4-man bench again instead of the 3-man bench.
It's been a lengthy 3-man bench, too.
It really has. Chop to third for Freeze. Freeze with the throw. And it's no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. No score after a couple.
Tweet of the game. It's from Mr. Bud Norris. He said, had a blast today at the Prime Time baseball camp in spring. Thanks for having me, Mike Stanton, out there. Sounds like Norris had a good time. But if you've ever been around Norris, you know he can be a jokester. So I bet he had a good time with the kids. It's a 3-day camp. It was yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Mike Stanton is one of the instructors there, guys.
Yeah, Mike, a big part of our Comcast Sportsnet family. Thanks, Julia. And here's Pete Kozma with ball one. 249 for Kozma. 1 homer, 26 runs batted in for Pete.
Can you imagine being a kid, getting a chance to be tutored by Mike Stanton and Bud Norris?
That was foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Golden opportunity.
Yeah, it's fun to be around Mike because, well, and you're this way too, Ash, JD. You know what the responsibilities are for all the positions on the field, not just the one you play. So a kid can pick up a lot from that. Swing there makes it 1 and 2. So if you're a second baseman and it's Mike Stanton's camp and he's a pitcher, fear not, you'll learn something.
Somebody probably learned a lesson right there, not to swing at that slider when it starts at the knees.
Kozma takes that one. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Pete. Pete was a first-round pick in '07. He's from Tulsa. Played for a state championship team in high school. Last year hit .333, but only had 72 Cardinal at-bats. That's a hook, and it got him looking. Voila.
Voila is right.
Trotted out that pitch, huh?
Big over-the-top job. Uncle Charlie just made an appearance. Look at this. As it comes across that front of the plate, that clearly is high enough. And when you get the peak at this type of pitch from the side, you'll see it right at the knees. Maybe well, you know what? I might have to retract. Boy, that one did some serious early biting.
Matt Carpenter takes ball 1.
I take it back, Pete.
Well, Lucas Harrell surprises us with the curveball. He throws it 7% of the time. Ball there makes it 2-0. But that's been part of his improvement, as you've already showed us in the month of June. The off-speed stuff has come around for Lucas. Well, he was just pounding the zone with a high dosage of fastballs. Now, here the last few starts, mixing it up more.
I love the way Lucas gets the ball back from his catcher, gets right up on the hill and ready to go again. It's just a nice pace of baseball.
Yeah, he and Westbrook can match up pretty well in a lot of regards, including that one. 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, you're right. The two guys are about business. Let's go ahead and play some baseball, guys.
Carpenter takes it. It's 3-2 to Matt. Carpenter has 31 2-hit games this year already. He has 42 base hits with 2 strikes in the count.
That's a confident hitter that can do that.
That's not a hit with 2 strikes. Great pitch by Lucas Harrell, and Carpenter is looking back at Marvin Hudson. 3rd strikeout.
Just another terrific example of Lucas Harrell hitting the inside edge and the advantage that can be taken. Sure looked like a good pitch. Well, Lucas likes that.
Molina takes strike 1. Yadier has had just a fabulous career. 4th round pick in 2000, 30 years old. It's no balls, 2 strikes. As you pointed out, he was 4th in the MVP balloting last year. There's his improving average against the fastball this year. 379.
Think he can handle the heater?
Oh, yeah.
Look at those improving numbers through the years. This heater right on the hands.
That's the one that was thrown to him when he grounded out in the first inning as well.
Exactly. Took a swing on the first pitch here where you could see a good part of why he's been so good. Just head stays down through the baseball.
Off the plate. 1-2. Lucas took a couple steps toward the dugout.
If you're hitting 252 instead of 352, you might get this one called on you. Pretty close pitch.
Are you implying that umpires know batting averages?
I think sometimes they see the board.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Molina signed a 5-year deal for $75 million. That'll take him through 2017. Marvin Hudson, Tim McClellan, Wally Bell, and Marty Foster on this umpiring crew.
I've seen a strike zone here this evening that might promote some swings on close pitches, and I like that.
Molina takes ball 3, and it's a full count to Yadier. He came into this season a .279 career hitter. He's won 5 Gold Gloves. He was an All-Star again last year, 4 straight years as an All-Star for Yadier. In the air and foul out of play for Yadier Molina. Reading a story about him today, Ash, and he's known for his memory. Tremendous memory. They'll be having a meeting with the pitchers and the pitching coach. They'll remember how they got somebody out a couple of years ago.
When you're that good, that memory comes in quite handy. If you're just a marginal player, somebody will holler out, "Save it."
Guy's just trying to get better.
Yeah, but you know, when that gets hollered out by the star of the ball club, that's stuff you're supposed to savor.
That's cool. That's strike 3. Wow. What a 3rd inning with 3 called 3rd strikes, and now there's some barking from Yadier Molina, and the Cardinals are getting their dander up. It's no score after 2.5.
Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Game 1 of a 2-game series. No score so far, but the temperature is rising. Part of the hitters, anyway. 3 called 3rd strikes for Lucas Harrell in the 3rd inning. He's had 4 in the game so far through 3. Now the Astros come up, and Yadier Molina's in front of home plate umpire Marvin Hudson, with Matt Dominguez in the box at .240 with 10 homers and a club high 42 runs batted in. Dominguez shoots one foul. There is strike 1 to Matt. Matt was 1 for 8 with an RBI in the series at Wrigley Field. He has hit much better at home this year than on the road. Brandon Barnes is on deck. Westbrook changed speeds on him and went in with an 81-mile-per-hour floater for an 0-2 count.
How does a team go about compiling a 47-29 record as they approach the midway point? You do it with great starting pitching. Very nice if you have the solid offense. That's what the Cardinals do.
Well, they play very good defensive baseball too. They've made the fewest errors of any team in the National League.
You know, and I was talking to Al Hrabowski, longtime broadcaster with the Cardinals, about their defense, and you can see the starting pitching first with that 41-19 record. Great ERA under the 3 mark as they lead in that category. Batting average against. They just do it all. And you know, we can say it over and over. It's on the pitching side, the starters primarily, and the offensive side as well. They're just a very well constructed ball club.
Strikeout number 2 for Westbrook.
It's that changeup again. You see it come almost out of the palm of the hand, it looked like.
Brandon Barnes has been leading off a lot in recent weeks. He finds himself in the number 9 spot tonight. 263, 3 homers, 16 runs batted in for Brandon. He was 0 for 9 in the Wrigley Field series. Hit 231 in the last homestand. Taking ball 1 there as he tries to reach with 1 out. The Astros looking for their second base runner of the night. 2-0 for Westbrook. Westbrook was 13-11 for the Redbirds last year. Falls behind 3-0 now. He's had some very nice years in the big leagues. Had back-to-back 15-win seasons in 05 and 06 for Cleveland, but then he had Tommy John surgery. 3 balls, 1 strike. You know, you talked about the guys in this Cardinals starting rotation. It has been a very fine rotation with a 2.99 starters combined ERA. Backhanded Cosma. He gets Barnes 2 outs.
Yeah, I started to say something about the defense. In talking with Al Hrabowski, he said, you know, we don't make errors. We don't go make the terrific plays a whole lot, but when the play that you should make is presented, this infield will get it done, as will the outfield. And I think when you talk to any pitcher, that's what they really rely on. When an out is presented, get it. And this Cardinals defense will do that.
Jose Altuve struck out in the first inning. 5 ground ball outs for Westbrook. That's in the air to center field, and John Jay tucks it away to make it a 1-2-3 third. After 3, there's no score in Houston. Hitters for St. Louis: Beltran, Craig, and Holiday against Lucas Harrell. The Astros don't have a hit through 3. Cardinals have a couple, both singles, both back-to-back. And that's ball 1. Beltran struck out looking in the first inning. Cardinals have gone 21-9 against the Astros the last 2 years combined. It's 2 balls, no strikes for Harrell.
Little visual conversation there between Castro and Harrell. Castro got crossed up on a good sinker there, and Harrell was saying, hey, I thought I saw you put down the 1.
3-0. Cardinals had the day off yesterday after the Rangers beat them Sunday night after a lengthy rain delay. That's to left field. Going back on it, Carter at the wall. It kicks off the wall back toward the infield. Barnes over to play it, and that's a double for Carlos Beltran. 9th double of the year for Beltran.
On a 3-0 pitch, this wasn't a great swing, but it's enough in this ballpark when you hit it toward those Crawford boxes in the scoreboard. And Chris Carter just simply unable to get back in time. Had he been able to get there, looked like maybe a catchable ball in terms of the height.
9 doubles for Beltran. First extra base hit of this game. Puts him in scoring position for Alan Craig. Craig single to right field. Mentioned how well he hits with runners in scoring position. This has been really something for the Redbirds to put guys in scoring position for Craig, who's delivered almost half the time this year. That's strike one to Craig. Cardinals have swung at only one first pitch from Harrell. Craig's on a 6-game hitting streak right now. .453 with men in scoring position.
I have to say, over the past week, maybe, clubs against the Astros, swinging on the 3-0 has been the norm. And Carlos Beltran takes advantage here. We've seen that quite a bit.
We have. Alan Craig was picked up in the '06 draft by St. Louis in the 8th round. He's 28 years old from Mission Viejo, California. Shoots that one into center field. Beltran around third. He's being sent home by Jose Oquendo. Throw from Barnes to the plate, cut off, and it's 1-0 Cardinals. Craig picks up his 59th run batted in.
He's just a good-looking hitter, and they've got a bunch of those in this Cardinal lineup. Look at that solid positioning, drives it right back up the middle. Just have to say, fundamentally, it's a good-looking club with the bats.
Beltran has scored the run. Now Matt Holliday will be the batter. He singled to right field earlier.
Good job, by the way, by Brandon Barnes getting that throw from center field down enough to be cut to where Alan Craig doesn't wind up at second.
Back to Holliday. Well, if you're going to beat this Cardinal team, it's usually necessary to put all the phases of the game together, because they don't beat themselves very often. It's a 1-1 count. Their pitchers don't make a lot of mistakes. They're doling out the fewest walks in the National League, have the best ERA. They've made only 30 errors. They've allowed just 22 unearned runs, and they hit like crazy with men in scoring position when they get opportunities.
That's amazing, the way they've hit with runners in scoring position, and it offsets that lack of power that they've had as a club.
That's a ball that makes it 2-1 to Holliday. Well, this Cardinal team has been built over a period of years, as you know. Many homegrown players, others obtained like Holliday in trades. And Holliday's been around for a few years now. He's one of the leaders. That's chopped foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They have moved right on after Albert Pujols left in free agency. Jeff Luhnow was a part of that.
Dickie Thon weighing in.
They might be talking Spanish.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think Dickie said yes right there. He may have heard you. I think, Dickie, that's C.
Cheo Cruz is here tonight. J.R. Richard came out. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I had a chance to get the vice grip from JR there for a while. He's got the strongest handshake of any man I've ever run into.
One piece of advice that might be worthwhile to pass along to you is do not wear a ring when you're shaking hands with that man.
I thought you were going to say just fist bump when you're greeting JR.
That works too. Toss over to first. Well, we'll all be together on Saturday. You, JR, Jimmy Wynn will be here. Cheo, Art Howe, Bob Aspromonte.
How about that guy?
Larry Durker. He's not listed as part of the group for the book signing Saturday from 2 to 3. Must be otherwise occupied. Foul ball keeps it at 3-2.
We've got to remedy that.
We might have to work on him. The game slows down here for Harrell. after the Beltran double on a 3-0 count. An RBI single by Craig. Now Holiday's worked the count full. The Cardinals do very little running. They're dead last in stolen bases in the National League with 18. They've only attempted 27 steals. They haven't stolen in the last 18 games. That ties them for the longest streak in the majors this year. And that's a walk to Holiday. Number 2.
Time for our pitch by pitch, brought to you by Steel Dealers. And we feature Matt Holliday here, a tough guy. When you're going after him, Lucas Harrell tries to do it with the sinker. He misses low. Tries to put it on the hands. It's chopped foul. He comes back with the sinker again, and another one chopped foul. Cardinals will just wear you out, and eventually you miss enough times that you put him on base.
Now first and second, nobody out, and it's Matt Adams. Matt Adams grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the second inning. Alan Craig's hit earlier was his 5th in a row with a man in scoring position. Craig now has 22 runs batted in June. That's 4th in the majors. That's in the dirt, and it's ball 1 to Adams. Redbirds last year were 88-74. And this year they came out of the chute 15-11 in April. They were in first place. But in May they really turned it on, going 20-7. Adams takes it, and it's a ball.
So you're in your off season, or you get to spring training, and you say, okay, as all clubs do, we want to be more aggressive and run more this year and be that club that is athletic. Well, the Cardinals just don't run that much. 9 times they've been caught stealing this year. You mentioned the 18 stolen bases, easily the worst in the National League. And yet they've been so solid in the other categories, they just win.
Interesting. Now 3-0. Adams had 86 at bats last year with the Redbirds. 23rd round pick in 09 from Phillipsburg, PA. He went to Slippery Rock. Rio pitch. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. 4 straight Redbirds have reached base. Now David Freese bats, and Doug Brocail heads for the hill.
This is probably just regroup time. Sometimes Doug has had the message of make sure you stay strong and focused out here. I think Lucas has been there. Haven't seen anything on the negative side at all, but just all of a sudden can't find the strike zone.
David Freese is 5 for 10 against Lucas Harrell.
Well, you sail along in a ball game, you feel like you're on top of things, and all of a sudden, after a 3-out double, things kind of come unglued a bit. Well, I said 3 out. That would be tough to do. A 3-0 double.
Oh, yeah.
A little more plausible.
Teams would like to have some of those 3-out doubles.
3-out doubles are very valuable.
To get back into the game. Strike to Freese. Freese got 38 hits in his first 100 postseason at bats. And that broke the major league record of 37 held by Thurman Munson and Steve Garvey. It's 1-1 to David. Born in Corpus Christi, but he grew up in St. Louis, went to high school at Wildwood, Missouri, and Community College, Merrimack, and the University of South Alabama. Freese takes that one. It's a strike, and it's 1-2. Of course, he was the NLCS MVP and the World Series MVP when they won it all in 2011.
Lucas has been struggling throwing the fastball, that sinker, for strikes, and now he turns to the curveball and finds it at the knees.
John Jay is on deck. Castro moves outside to stop that one. It's 2-2. Greg Rocale hoping Harrell can find the secret here after the first 4 have reached. Double, single, walk, walk. These two teams have played each other 700 times. Cardinals have won 374, the Astros 326. That strike 3 call. 5th call, 3rd strike, and another bit of grousing by a Cardinal.
Again, maybe taking advantage of a slightly liberal strike zone. You work on that outside edge when you can get the call. Is very nice to get, but a strike zone that has promoted again the swings on close pitches.
John Jay bounced into a force in the 2nd inning. Bases loaded, 1 out now for Jay. Cardinals are hitting 375 as a team with the bases loaded. That's strike 1 to Jay.
Not an easy guy to double up, but a guy you'd love to turn that trick on right here.
Off the plate for a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Lance Lynn pitches tomorrow night against Eric Bedard. 7-10 start for Bo Porter's Astros and Mike Matheny's Cardinals. Lance Lynn is 10-1. Eric Bedard is 2-3. Harrell was moved ahead of Bedard in the rotation. Strike call, 1-2. The Astros have another off day this week coming on Thursday. So Bedard was moved behind Harrell. Harrell is a sinker baller who would prefer not to have that much rest between starts. That can be harmful to a guy who wants his arm more tired, so the ball will have that natural sink. That's ball 2, and it's 2-2. If that's the case, Mark Scholander should have been a heck of a pitcher. Long distance swimmer.
Another very close pitch. After 5 strikeouts all called, I think there comes a point at which the home plate umpire just says, I can't give you another one.
In the dirt for ball 3, and now it's a full count with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Boy, a lot of conversations going on between Castro and Harrell here in the inning.
Now, this could be one of those turning points that Bo Porter frequently talks about in a game. What happens right now with the score 1-0, bases loaded, the 7th 3-ball count of the night for Harrell. 84 pitches. It's high for ball 4 to force in run number 2. Jay gets his 33rd run batted in on the 3rd walk of the inning.
And not even close on that pitch. That really one of the few pitches we've seen from Harrell to this point that just didn't have a shot at the strike zone.
Alan Craig scores run number 2. And now it's Pete Kozma batting. Kozma struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Three for 10 with the bases loaded with 5 punch outs. Matt Carpenter's on deck. .29 pitch inning with 18 of those pitches balls for Lucas Harrell. He's 3-5 at home with a 5.43 ERA. Missing there for ball 1. Astros have really put together a run of starting pitching. Harrell had the second lowest ERA in the month of June, 1.73 coming into this game. The line shot into left field. Holiday scores to make it 3-0. RBI single. Cosma, his 27th run batted in.
Three very good innings for Lucas Harrell, and now it's coming apart at the seams here in this fourth inning. Some good hitting, some poor pitching where you walk guys, and it's just simply adding up.
Matt Carpenter, a looping liner to short, and he struck out looking. Five for 7 in his career with the bases loaded. He clocks this one to right center field. On the run, Maxwell lays out, gets by him, and 3 runs are going to score on this. Carpenter heads for third base. And here's the relay from Cedeno, not in time. A 3-run triple for Carpenter. Third triple. And that gives him 30 runs batted in to make it 6-0 St. Louis. And Maxwell is down. And Bo Porter and head athletic trainer Nate Lucero are headed for right center field, where he fell hard as he tried that diving catch.
Just methodical here by the Cardinals. No home runs involved. Right on what they do all the time. You can see on that dive by Maxwell, looked like the left arm kind of collapsed under him. Let's see what we can see here.
Yeah. He landed on it and rolled over. Might have been the wrist. He had the broken bone in his left hand being hit by a pitch in April. Hopefully it's not that, but he did land hard, and then he kind of bounced, it appeared, Ash, so maybe that left wrist rolled over and felt the brunt of his weight as he fell.
I'm wondering, as they attend to him, if it wasn't maybe his face, his forehead hitting the ground.
That could be too.
Yeah, he takes a bit of a face plant, and I was actually concerned that it was going to be something on that left arm that maybe had gone badly for him. But you see also that he takes one on the choppers there, and maybe just a stun job, you hope, pointing to the left side of his jaw.
And the injury people fear these days on a play like that is a possible concussion.
He seems to be communicating well, and I would hope that that's a good indication there. But I have a feeling that that jaw got thrown to one side, and he's dealing with what catchers deal with, a good deal on the foul tips that catch on the side of the jaw.
Dallas Keuchel is warming up. Feeling the left temple area there. That head really landed hard. There had been some talk about skipping Dallas Keuchel in the rotation on this turn because of the 2 off days, yesterday and Thursday this week. And now he's beginning to get loose.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see from a guy that you're debating as to whether he stays in or comes out, when he continues to address an area that is bothering him.
Gets a drink of water. Bo Porter is calling back to the bench. Eduardo Perez waving out there. See what he wants. J.D. Martinez is running out toward right field. They're going to get him in this game for Justin Maxwell. Meanwhile, a delay for Lucas Harrell as Martinez becomes the right fielder.
Well, that's too bad. Obviously, Justin's worked hard to try to get back, and you hope it's nothing more than just kind of that momentary stunning while you face plant, and he definitely did that.
The Cardinals have scored 6 runs so far in the 4th inning, and there's only 1 out. They had a double from Beltran, and Alan Craig came up, an RBI single, and then 3 walks. Cosma with an RBI single and a 3-run triple there for Carpenter. 6-run inning. It's that area above his left eye that he keeps touching.
Seems like he's kind of forgotten about the jaw, but that area, like you say, above the left eye, troublesome.
They can get some ice on that right away in the training room. Now it's Yadier Molina batting, and the infield comes in with 1 out, and the runner at third, Carpenter. Molina has grounded to third and struck out looking. Molina has 13 extra base hits this month, 11 doubles and 2 homers. That ties his career high for extra base hits in any calendar month. He looks at ball 1 as the 9th hitter to bat here in this Cardinal 4th. Molina had a string of 8 games in a row with at least 1 extra base hit in all of those games. In tight, and it's a ball to make it 2 balls, no strikes to Yadier Molina, who had not hit second very often, only a couple times in his career prior to this year. But he had a big game and a win over the Royals batting second. Ground ball at the middle, and that gets him an RBI and a 7-0 Cardinal lead. 42 runs batted in for Yadier Molina. That's what the Cardinals do so well, hit the ball up the middle.
Just an uncontested ground ball with the infield drawn in, and whether they're back or in, they're not going to handle this. Only a pitcher who can really handle that position, and I mean in the extreme fashion, might have a shot on this one.
7-0 lead for the Cardinals, and Lucas Harrell, who has allowed 8 runs in a game twice this season, both of those here at Minute Maid Park, takes his walk toward the dugout. And lefty Dallas Keuchel will be brought in. The Cardinals have batted around here in the 4th inning. They lead at 7-0, and we'll be right back. Moving, showing you what's happening right here. As Dallas Keuchel comes out of the bullpen, he'll be pitcher number 2. Jose Cisneros, the guy who's not stopped improving. He, in 9 games in April and May, went 1-0 with a 3.13 ERA. In June, he's 1-0. His ERA 0 this month with 9 2/3 innings of work.
Dallas Keuchel's done a pretty good job in that regard as well. Got a steadily improving left-hander for the club. Sure, he wanted to get his turn to pitch, not in this fashion though.
Well, Dallas has been in that starting rotation since May 10th here against the Texas Rangers. Opened the season as a long man in relief. Sent briefly to AAA Oklahoma City and then right back. Now it's Carlos Beltran facing him. Beltran opened the inning with a double to left, batting left-handed. There's strike 1. 4-4, a 4.25 ERA for Dallas Keuchel. 22 walks, 52 strikeouts in 72 innings.
Left-handers have hit .315 against him. He just doesn't have anything to make the left-handers uncomfortable.
Well, the Texas League All-Star game is being played tonight in Springdale, Arkansas at Arvest Ballpark. 6 Corpus Christi Hooks were named to the South squad. Check swing call goes down to first. Tim McClellan says he checked it. It's 1-2. Mike Fultonevich, David Martinez, Jake Buchanan, Rene Garcia. Outfielders George Springer and Domingo Santana are the 6 All-Stars from Corpus. And now, after this game tonight, a couple of those guys will head for AAA Oklahoma City. Jake Buchanan, the pitcher, and George Springer, the outfielder. Foul ball keeps the count at 1-2.
George Springer has had a heck of a year at AA and now moving on to AAA. But boy, if anybody deserved to be on an all-star team, it is George Springer. 19 dingers, over 20 doubles and stolen bases, driving in the runs. Young man can play.
Tremendous year underway for Springer. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count, and he will be joining a very hectic time for the Oklahoma City club with doubleheaders stacked up. They played a doubleheader today. In game 1, they lost 2-0, and it was a complete game loss for Jared Cosard. Playing game 2 right now. Beltran tried to check, but he went this time. Tim McClellan rings him up. Strikeout victim number 6 for Astros pitching.
Well, on the 2-2 pitch, Keuchel turns to that slider. You can see the circle behind the baseball. Great indicator of the slider. And that induces the half swing.
Now 2 outs and Alan Craig batting. Craig is 2 for 2 with an RBI. Oklahoma City losing to the Omaha Storm Chasers today. Game 1 of that doubleheader. There's strike 1. Brett Wallace had been really hitting well when he got the call to come here from Oklahoma City. Jimmy Paredes is really hitting for a high batting average as well. Strike makes it 0-2.
Yeah, I think that can be confusing for fans. I think it's confusing for all of us how a guy can put together such tremendous numbers at the highest level of the minor leagues and yet struggle to such an extent on the big league level.
True. Those numbers are not all projectable to major league numbers. This one gets away from Jason Castro. A pitch in the dirt. Advancing to second, Yadier Molina on a wild pitch. So 1-2 count as Molina moves over. 7 runs on 7 hits for the Cardinals. 5 of those hits to go with 3 walks here in the 4th inning. Craig is the 11th batter. Craig was hitting .366 lifetime against Houston before coming into this game, and he's 2 for 2 tonight. He grounds that one foul for Matt Dominguez. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. You know, this has been a year for many Astros fans to follow these top stars in the minor leagues. We've seen Springer do so well here in the first half of the year. Now what's he going to do at AAA? And typically we think of the Texas League as a prospect type league. Generally more hard throwing pitchers, if we could be so general with that comment, than you might see at AAA. Strike 3 call. That's strikeout number 7 for Astros pitching. And the Redbirds come up with 7 in the 4th inning on 5 hits. They lead at 7-0.
June 28th for Big and Bright Friday night. The Astros take on the Angels at 7:10. Stay after for a spectacular fireworks show featuring the musical hits of Michael Jackson, presented by Marathon Oil. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to get your tickets today. Brett Wallace up first here for the Astros in the bottom of the 4th, and it found out that he got recalled last night after Oklahoma City's game. He got here about noon and is happy to have another chance. His numbers in Oklahoma City very good, as the guys were talking about earlier. He said earlier when he was with AAA he made some adjustments, specifically with his hands on the bat. Since then he started to feel more comfortable, started making contact, and he comes back a more confident player, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Well, with a .326 batting average there for the Red Hawks, 11 homers, 37 runs batted in. Should be pretty confident. He went 0 for 1 hitting a fly ball to left first time in this game. There's strike 1. As he left the Astros, boy, it was a tough situation. What a difficult start for Brett Wallace. He started this season 1 for 24 with 17 strikeouts. And with the 0 for 1 tonight, he's 0 for his last 23 now. So a chance for him to break that slide tonight. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Westbrook.
I think most guys who have ever played this game have lost all confidence at some point. It's just unfortunate he lost it from opening day on. And you come up with 20 some odd at bats, and it felt like 100 at bats watching the way things were going early on.
Yeah, it must have to him. He appeared in 40 games at first base and 10 at third for the Red Hawks this year. He was working out some at third today. Bounce to the right side. And there's the underhanded toss. 1 out. Matt Adams to Jake Westbrook for the first out. Jason Castro next. He and his wife Maris are sponsoring that book drive on Saturday here at Minute Maid Park. And they have a foundation involved in literacy, collecting new and gently used books. I want to bring one for somebody K through 12th grade. We'll go to someone in the Houston Independent School District. That's ball 1 to Jason. He and his wife Maris both going to Stanford. And obviously very well educated, and they want to make sure that some kids get a chance. Julia has more. Julia.
Hey, Brownie. Yeah, it's our Geico quote of the day, talking about Castro's book drive. Maris and I couldn't be more dedicated and excited to launch Castro's Kids by promoting literacy in the Houston school districts. We hope to make an impact in the area that we are proud to call our home. Good stuff there, Brownie.
Bat goes flying out by the second baseman as Castro swings at it, and it's a 1-2 count.
Don't see this very often, where the bat goes flying right out into the field of play as opposed to down one of the lines.
Checking now with the count being 1-2. Scoreboard says 1-1. It's confirmed. It's 1-2 to Jason by Marvin Hudson. 2 balls, 2 strikes. How much did you look at the scoreboard when you were playing that?
I think I looked at it a lot. I think all players do. And it's wrong a lot of times. And so you're trying to keep your internal numbers and verifying with umpires. And sometimes the umpires get caught up in what numbers are up on the board.
3-2.
What you don't want to do is look at that batting average when it's somewhere in futility. It can be really tough on the psyche.
Tap foul. Yankees general manager Brian Cashman, according to one story tonight, is angry over Alex Rodriguez's decision to tweet an update on his rehab process. Cashman told one reporter, "You know what? When the Yankees want to announce something, we will. Alex should just shut up. That's it."
That's intriguing.
Bouncer out to second. It's boxed. Recovery, and they get him. Carpenter had time to get Castro. 2 outs.
Yeah, there's been a great encouragement in the last couple of years for players and probably everybody involved to get involved there, provide information for the fan. And then occasionally a player will get caught providing some information that maybe is not desired by the organization. I think that's a tough line to walk.
Chris Carter walked in the second inning. David Freese is almost straddling the third base line on Carter. There's ball 1. Carter has had 41 hits to left field, 9 to center, and 8 to right. So that's why Freese is playing him to pull, as he does quite often. It's a 1-1 count.
Brian Cashman gets a little emphatic in his comments about A-Rod, and I think, quite frankly, he crossed the line.
A-Rod did?
No, I think Brian Cashman did.
Ooh. 2-1.
If you get a chance to read the story, you may or may not agree.
We can't read all of it on the air.
No, don't do it.
Well, A-Rod tweeted about a visit from the doctor who gave him the best news, the green light to play games again. 2-2. But Cashman said that he has not been given the go-ahead to play in games. So tensions seem to be building between the Yankees and A-Rod. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Now, I would have been mad if I were Brian Cashman at what A-Rod was accused of doing during the World Series last year, but
sure,
at suggesting that maybe he's ready to go out and try to do something, that baffles me a bit.
Well, it's Keuchel in the dugout. And that's strike 3. It looked like ball 4, but no, it's going to be a strike tonight. So it's strikeout number 3, and after 4, it's 7-0 Cardinals.
Wow.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. What St. Louis Cardinal played for the Harlem Globetrotters? Oh, I know this one, Ash.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only time all year.
Let me think on this one a moment.
This Keuchel with a fly ball from Holiday out to center field, and Barnes on pitch 1 out. Holiday was 1 for 1 with a walk. That's 1 out in the 5th. Lucas Harrell in 3 1/3 innings. Allowed 7 hits, 7 runs, walking 4, fanning 5. He threw 91 pitches. Matt Adams bounced into a double play, and then he walked and scored in the 7-run Cardinal 4th. Astros pitchers threw 46 pitches in that 4th inning. That's top foul. There is strike 1. You ever go see the Globetrotters?
I did.
Well, they put on a show, don't they?
I thought those Washington Generals needed some better draft pick work.
They had an inept front office. No balls, 2 strikes.
Because I heard today that the Globetrotters, what's her name, Griner, selected
Brittany
Griner. And I'm thinking, well, who do they draft against? What's going on there?
She's already under contract. They can't. Well, I guess they could draft her. But
do the Generals get involved in that draft?
No.
Pick number 2 in the, I don't even know what league that would be, draft. Washington Generals select.
There is no league. There's one team.
Well, it seems like the draft is maybe unneeded.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number. Let's try Bob Gibson.
Oh, there you go. With the wonder of the internet, I was prepared with the answer, but nicely done, Brownie. How'd Gibby do?
I don't know.
Couple of years on that team.
Not sure what his scoring average was or assist average.
Usually those players would spin the ball on their finger upright, so that's unusual the way Bob's going at it.
He may have been pointing to their itinerary. Ground ball in the hole, knocked away, but not picked up cleanly by Ronnie Cedeno. And it's an error, his 10th of the year. The Astros have had their issues at shortstop defensively this season.
Just an enormous one Sunday. I thought really the key play of the ball game as the Cubs exploded on the Astros, but Marwin Gonzalez had a double play presented behind Jordan Lyles. It didn't happen, and the floodgates just opened after that.
Gonzalez made his 8th error on Sunday. Now Cedeno makes his 10th. John Jay is the batter. Jay is 0 for 1 with the bases loaded walk. Phil Boudreau says the Globetrotters are in a league of their own, Ash.
And therefore, the draft seems a little unneeded. But, you know, if they're going to hold a draft, it should be on TV.
No balls, 2 strikes. You, of course, were watching the Stanley Cup final last night.
I
right?
did see the very end.
What a finish.
Wow. 3 goals through a whole ball game, and then in 17 seconds, a couple of goals.
That was sensational. Except for Bruins fans.
I guess you wouldn't call that a ball game, would you?
You could. You could. But I haven't found a ball yet in that game. 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular. Tough for the home folk in Boston, I imagine.
And then they pointed out that the arena was on the 3rd floor of the building, so it was hot there and the ice was melting. Had a little problem with that.
Now, that's not the old Boston Gardens anymore, I gather.
No, it's not, but it's a pretty modern building. You would think they could have avoided that. Pena with the play. And in the 5th inning, it's no runs, no hits, an error, a man left. It's 7-0 Redbirds.
Create memories, save money, and have fun with Astros baseball. Whether you're treating your employees, hosting clients, or bringing out your church or youth sports team, we'll create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to enjoy special pricing and great benefits by reserving your group or suite today.
7-0. Jake Westbrook has been handed the big lead. Carlos Pena pumps one on a line to left field, coming over and reaching it with a stabbing play. Alan Craig. And now the Cardinal fans are looking at the hit column on the board for Houston and seeing a 0 and starting to get caught up perhaps in what might be happening with that Westbrook.
Yeah, should the Cardinals pitching staff be able to maintain this no bid, this play will be looked at many a time. Be a nice job by Craig in left.
J.D. Martinez is up for the first time. That's ball 1.
Yeah, I had heard, sorry Brownie, that the Cardinals made the plays that were presented to them, and maybe not a whole lot of range all the time, but that was very rangy.
Time's call there. Westbrook just froze in his delivery. J.D. Martinez at 250 has 7 homers, 29 runs batted in. This is his first time up. He entered the game for the injured Justin Maxwell. Grounds to third. David Freese zips a throw across for out number 2. Well, Westbrook is conserving his pitches. 54 pitches for Westbrook through 4 2/3. There's the breakdown. 3 so far here. And it's Ronnie Cedeno to follow. Cedeno grounded out. Earlier this season, as the Astros faced Yu Darvish, he was perfect through 8 2/3. Marwin Gonzalez broke up that perfect game bid with a single through his legs into center field. That's strike 1. Starlin Castro is getting a night off for the Chicago Cubs. That breaks his consecutive game streak. It's his first day off since 2011. He had the longest streak in the National League, 269 games. High chop, Freeze. Little bobble, but he throws in with that strong arm. He gets Cedeno to take Westbrook through 5 no-hit innings with a 7-0 Cardinal lead. Only 6 pitches in the 5th. Nat is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Now's your chance to go big at Jack in the Box. Try Jack's Big Stack Burger. 2 jumbo beef stack patties, stacked with onion rings, cheese, and pickles. And by Grinds Coffee Pouches, the healthy alternative to tobacco for professional baseball. Visit getgrinds.com today for more information. Dallas Keuchel with a pitch, and it is strike 1 as inning number 6 gets underway. Pete Kozma the batter. Kozma is 1 for 2. He had an RBI single in the 7-run Cardinal 4th. All the scoring concentrated in that 1/2 inning so far. It's 0-2 for Dallas Keuchel. Dallas pitched in Chicago. And he pitched the opener of the Cubs series on Friday. So coming back on 3 days rest. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
See where the Chicago Cubs have designated their former closer, Carlos Marmol.
You think he's fixable? His delivery?
Well, he certainly had great success previously. I don't know what his stuff looks like right now. The numbers are not good.
It's 2-2. Keuchel threw 92 pitches on Friday. In that 3-1 loss, he gave up all of the 3 runs on solo homers. He walked 1 and fanned 9. That's in for a strikeout looking.
Yeah, these Cards will look at some close pitches, won't they?
They're taking a bunch. That's the 9th strikeout. Seven of them looking of the 9. Carpenter is 1 for 3. 3-run triple in the 3rd inning. Barnes moving over toward left center, and it's ball 1. First of a 9-game homestand for the Astros. It's 1-1. This series wraps up tomorrow night at 7:10 with Eric Bedard facing Lance Lynn. Then Thursday, an off day. The Angels come in over the weekend. Then Tampa Bay's here for 4. 1-2. We get to see Will Myers. Will the Thrill has broken in quite nicely.
Went yard last night.
Yeah. He's hit a couple already. That's a 4-game series, July 1st through the 4th, and then the Astros go on the road to Texas, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay. And that will take them up to the All-Star game. It's 2-2 now.
Boston Red Sox have sent Will Middlebrooks to the minor leagues.
Really?
Yep.
Who's going to play third?
Iglesias, I believe.
Okay.
Not Julio, but Jose.
That's 10 strikeouts. Julia?
Hey, Brownie. I've got our progressive fan of the game with me, and it's 8-year-old Lane. Here you go, Lane. Hold this. Now I want you to tell me who your favorite Astro is.
Jason Castro.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, you got your glove. Show us your glove. Why'd you bring the glove?
Because I wanted to catch a foul ball.
Of course. Okay, well, I hope you get one, and congratulations, Brownie.
Thanks, Julia. Happy little kid. Yadier Molina takes ball 1. Molina drove in a run in the 4th inning with that single. He's 1 for 3. Iglesias is hitting 400 or better for the Red Sox. You were talking about him being the new third baseman.
It'll get you started any position you desire. Yeah, remember back, Middlebrooks, one of the first few games of the year, had 3 home runs in one game.
That's hit to right field. J.D. Martinez running back toward the gap. That bangs off the bullpen wall. Brandon Barnes picks it up. It's a double for Molina. His 26th 2-base hit. He continues to crank out the extra base hits this year.
Harrell got him early on the hands. Since then, a couple of pitches out over the plate, and he's picked up a couple more hits here tonight, 2 for 4. This is just down and away. See how the head and right shoulder stay down through the baseball? It gives you a great chance to hit it to right field and back up the middle.
Hit number 8 for the Redbirds. 2 from Molina. Now Carlos Beltran. He has a double in 3 trips. And he hits this one to left field. Carter turns around to watch it. That's in the seats. A 2-run homer for Carlos Beltran. That's his 18th long ball of the year. 48 runs batted in for the former Astro. 9-0 Redbirds.
Now there appears to be one piece of drama left here this evening. Carlos Beltran, excellent from either side of the plate. He is aging, but it's not showing on his game.
9 runs on 9 hits for the Redbirds, no runs on no hits, and 1 error for the Astros. Alan Craig's the batter. He has 2 hits and an RBI. Carlos Beltran returning to Minute Maid Park and doing some damage. Josh Fields is warming up. And strike 1 for Keuchel. Earlier this season, when Dallas was working out of the bullpen, he had some very good outings. Had a 3-inning scoreless stint in Oakland, April 16th. He lost a game here against Detroit, but that game went 14 innings. He went 4 1/3 in relief. That one gets through the left side. A hit by Craig, and Craig's 3 for 4. Matt Holliday is 1 for 2 with a walk. It's 10 hits for the Cardinals. They were held down over the weekend by the Texas Rangers. Now Doug Brocail comes out with Josh Fields warming up. The Rangers came up with some good pitching in that Cardinals series and swept them. Redbirds, after the day off, bouncing back strong tonight offensively.
It's hard to focus on a conversation at the Hill like this. The score's 9-0. You're getting raked around a little bit, and things are obviously not going the way of your club. And it's just difficult. It's kind of like, okay, to your whoever the person of authority might be with you. Okay, let's get over with the conversation. Let's get back to getting this done.
During that 3-game sweep by Texas, St. Louis scored a total of 7 runs in the 3 games. Scored 7 runs in 1 inning tonight. Matt Holliday, the batter, runner at first and 2 outs. Pena's playing behind the base runner Craig. Strike to Holliday, who's 1 for 2 with a walk. Rangers are at Yankee Stadium tonight. They're tied 3-3 in the top of the 9th inning. Leonis Martin has hit 2 home runs for Texas, giving him 5. Travis Hafner belted his 12th for the Yankees. Jason Nix number 2. Brett Gardner number 7 for them. It's a 9-0 ball game. St. Louis leading after coming up with 7 in the 4th inning. 3 on a triple by Matt Carpenter. Meanwhile, Jake Westbrook is not allowed a hit. Bill Brown, Alan Ashby, Julia Morales just keeping up with the Kardashians tonight at Minute Maid Park.
Say what?
1 and 2. So you're not.
Well, they're feuding, and I think we're getting along very nicely.
Okay, you're right.
I don't know if they're
I would like
feuding
to.
or not. I have no idea.
I'd like to strike that comment from the record.
I have never seen that. I have to get on the record with, but
never.
Always see the little headlines.
Oh yeah.
Surf around the internet. You can be anywhere. The Kardashians are looming.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Was that the beginning of reality shows, or somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
Struck him out. And that is strikeout number 11. It's 2 runs on 3 hits and a man left. And in the middle of the 6th inning, 9-0 Cardinals.
Fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. Available on iPhone and iPad. Download for free today, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Home Run Derby. Bottom of the 6th inning. The Astros looking for their first hit off Jake Westbrook. And they trail 9-0, taking strike 1. Matt Dominguez, the batter. Matt struck out in the 3rd inning. As a team, the Astros are hitting .219 for the month of June. Cardinals .289 in June. Dominguez looks at that one, and the count runs to 1-1 for Jake Westbrook. Nationals lead the Diamondbacks 7-4. They're in the top of the 9th at Washington. Domingo takes, and it's 2-1 to Matt. Nationals are trying to climb back to 500. And they have Rafael Soriano in to try to close it out. That's a drive to left field. That's the first hit, and that is high up on the flag tower. A home run for Matt Dominguez, number 11. The Astros are on the board with instant offense from the club RBI leader with his 43rd for Matt Dominguez, 9-1.
I remember when Jeff Bagwell first hit the scene, and he told some guys, you know, every once in a while I'm going to hit one that you'll be rather impressed with. Well, that's the same story here with Matt Dominguez. This was impressive. Up there, I don't know if that gets on the tracks. It looked like it had a shot. He's got some legitimate pop. He's not just squeaking some balls over the backside of the wall.
That's his 9th home run in this ballpark this year. Now Brandon Barnes takes a strike. Before tonight, he was a .310 hitter at Minute Maid. 8 homers, 28 runs batted in for Matt. So a big portion of his production has come at Minute Maid. 1-1 to Barnes. And then grounded out his first time up.
Kind of easy to say, well, of course, with that short porch in left field. But for Chris Carter, it's gone the other way.
Yeah, you're right. 2-1. Certainly not automatic. Carter's hitting .165 at home coming into this game. That's taken for ball 3 by Brandon Barnes. Brandon's trying to snap an 0 for 14. First home run allowed this season by Westbrook.
That's impressive. His 9th start.
Yeah. Travis Blackley's warming up for Houston. That's ball 4. Second walk of the night for Westbrook. Westbrook is right up there with being stingy on homers.
I don't think Mike Matheny has a whole lot he's worried about right now, but trying to do the best thing he can for his pitching staff, no doubt.
Westbrook had, let's see, 5 innings tonight, giving him 62 1/3 consecutive homerless innings dating back to last year. But then it was just broken up by Dominguez, taking him deep. That was the 3rd longest current streak in the majors. Homerless innings as a fly ball up the right field line by Jose Altuve for strike 1. Al Albuquerque of Detroit has not allowed a homer in his career. 73 innings. And Ryan Cook, the Oakland reliever, has not allowed one, 59 1/3.
It's rather impressive when you haven't given one up in your career.
Boy.
It's coming, big guy.
It's coming.
And when it comes, you're going to give up 3 in an inning. Kind of the nature of the game.
Got the announcement on Justin Maxwell, mild concussion. Bouncer foul.
Hate to hear that.
Yeah, because the way things are these days, there are so many of those in sports. It's got to be treated cautiously. Here's the injury.
Yeah. And you can see, I mean, he bangs it, but good. I played in a day where you never heard concussion even mentioned.
Right.
You all right? Can you see me? Okay. Go look at me from way out there.
Well, Mike Matheny had that problem.
And the word was he got it from the foul tips, hitting the mask and all. I don't ever remember feeling buzzed by a foul tip. Some would really bust up the jaw area, but Mike, one of the guys that really took one or a bunch wrong at some point.
That essentially ended his career.
Terrific catcher, too.
Liner over short to left field. That's a hit. And Craig throws it in toward third on a single by Altuve. Well, Altuve takes his hitting streak to 6 games.
A little more on Mike Matheny, the best fundamental catcher I ever watched, ever, on breaking balls in the dirt. He was just perfection. Altuve, very nice as he waits on the breaking ball.
That's his 88th hit, Ash.
Well, he's just so steady. He's had his little patches where he's had some problems, but You hear some people talking about, well, he's having a struggle this year. He's just hanging right around 300.
Brett Wallace is 0 for 2 tonight. Out to left center field, a long run for John Jay. That'll break the string. Wallace gets an extra base hit. Driving in Barnes, and now Altuve comes to the plate, and Wallace to third. He's safe. He snaps an 0 for 24 with a resounding drive to left center, driving in 2. And 9-3 now. A triple for Wallace.
For Brett Wallace, this is just great stuff. Second ball he's hit sharply tonight. You know, you wonder, yeah, you were killing it at the minor league level, but let's see what you can do here. Well, 2 very good at-bats already, and takes advantage on this one. Really nice to see. That bat could be valuable at the big league level.
He hits the ball away very hard. Altuve scoring the second run on that 2-run triple by Wallace, giving him his first runs batted in of the season, and he's got to be so relieved. He came back to the ball club today with that 0 for 22, and when he got sent down, struck out 17 times in 24 at bats. Tonight 1 for 3, hasn't struck out. He really powered that one.
Don't think I've ever seen a guy in as large a funk as he was in early on this year.
Third major league triple for Brett Wallace. He's aboard for Jason Castro, who's grounded out twice. Nobody out in the inning. Chris Carter on deck. And there's strike 1 for Westbrook. Lance Lynn goes tomorrow night. He and Adam Wainwright are both 10-game winners on this Cardinals staff. Wainwright has a 2.31 ERA, Lynn a 3.42. Shelby Miller's 8-5. His ERA is 2.35. Strike, and it's 0-2. Jaime Garcia is out for the season. He had shoulder surgery. He was 5-2 with a 3.58 before he went down. They have just really been solid on the mound. And Westbrook has had the lowest ERA. Castro looks at it. It's 1-2. They have more on the way. Good young pitching waiting in the wings. And they have a dynamic young outfielder, Oscar Taveras, in the minor leagues. It's 2-2 to Castro. Adam LaRoche hit his 11th home run tonight for Washington. The Nationals trying to close out Arizona. It's 7-5 Washington. Top of the 9th. 2 outs and 1 on for the D-backs. Fly ball. Craig back into the left field corner for the catch. Here's the tag at third. Wallace waltzes home to make it 9-4. Sac fly for Castro. RBI number 26 for Jason.
Oh, nice little inning for the club to try to get back in this game.
Chris Carter, who's walked and struck out looking, tries to continue. 1 out with Carlos Pena on deck. If they can rough up Westbrook some more, get into that Cardinal bullpen, that could certainly further the cause. Ball 1 to Carter. Angels are walloping the Tigers in Detroit 11-5. They're in the top of the 8th inning. Miguel Cabrera hit his 21st home run. It's a 1-1 count. Seth Maness warming up for St. Louis. Marlins 4, Twins 2. That's a final from Miami. Dietrich hit his 7th for the Marlins. Ramos the winner, Correa the loser. Cishek saved his 13th. 2-1 for Carter now. And it's inside for ball 3. Brewers lead the Cubs 8-3. They're in the bottom of the 6th in Milwaukee. Ricky Weeks hit his 7th. Francisco his 7th as well for the Brewers. Nate Schierholz hit number 11 for the Cubs. Carter chops it foul. 1 ball, 3 balls, 2 strikes to count to Chris. Getting 1 and 2 on the scoreboard, but it's 3 and 2 there on the screen, as you see. Willeen Rosario at his 12th home run for the Rockies, but the Red Sox lead them 9-4. They're in the bottom of the 7th. That's high to center field. Jay over. The right fielder Carlos Beltran takes it in. 2 down. Carlos Pena will bat. Maness throwing in the bullpen. There's 5 innings, a no-hitter. This inning, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 25 pitches. Minute Maid Park has not been kind to his ERA. 6.63 was his ERA coming into this game. It's a line shot over shortstop. Pena unloads one to left center field. He'll head for second base. Jay picks it up, and that's a double for Carlos, number 13. The Astros have hit for the cycle in this inning.
Carlos gets that leadoff sinker. Finds a lot of plate. He drills it appropriately into left center field. Now this has been a good inning for the club. I don't know if Westbrook feels like he's lost anything or if it's just one of those innings where it comes along and bites you.
J.D. Martinez grounded out. Pretty weird though when the team is no hit through 5 and then hits for the cycle in the 6th.
And you can have those innings as a pitcher and feel like nothing was different.
Martinez takes ball 1.
Kind of happened to Lucas Harrell tonight.
Yeah, he was in a good spot through 3. He gave up 7 in the 4th. That's hit sharply. Diving play, Cosma. Cosma rifles a throw to first. That is outstanding shortstop play by Pete Cosma to end the Astros 6th inning, but they come up with a 4 spot. They get a homer from Dominguez. Single by Altuve. A Wallace 2-run triple after a walk in there, then another double, and it's 9-4. This moment in history is brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. Houston erupts for a team record 19 runs against the Cubs at the Astrodome June 25th, 1995. Jeff Bagwell drives in 5, including a 3-run homer in the 7th. The Astros won it 19-6. Now Travis Blackley is pitcher number 3 of the night. Dallas Keuchel in 2 2/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. Blackley comes in as the 2nd straight lefty to pitch for Bo Porter with no decisions and an ERA of 4.18.
Left-hand hitters have really taken it on the chin from Travis this year. The right-handers hitting .286, but his specialty has been against the lefties.
Lefty hitting Matt Adams first up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. And there's strike 1 for Adams. Giants and Dodgers underway. No score. Bottom of the 1st. What do you think about this movement to put Yasiel Puig on the All-Star team?
I think it's a little premature, but wow, what an impact he's had. Every team has to have an All-Star. I don't know who the Dodgers, well, I do know who the Dodgers All-Star is.
Bouncer, and Altuve cannot get there. That's a single for Adams.
Dodgers have a pretty good left-handed starting pitcher.
Oh, got him Kershaw?
Yeah, he might make it.
Julia?
Thank you, Brownie. Sports Talk Live with Kevin Eschenfelder wrangles up some noteworthy sports guests that have plenty of buzzworthy opinions and play-by-play analysis. You'll never know who stops by on Sports Talk Live weekdays at 5. Back to you.
He had a good show last night, but he does that every night. David Freese is 0 for 2 with a walk. He had Jeff Luhnow on the show last night. 19,271. The attendance tonight for game 1 of a 2-game series between the Redbirds and the Astros. The Astros used to be the Cardinals AAA Farm Club here at Old Buff Stadium. That's high to left field. Freese into his home run trot. He's going to see where this one lands. That one lands way upstairs and cascades down. And on the 2-run homer by Freese, it's number 5 of the year, giving him 26 runs batted in. And it's 11-4 Redbirds. 6th career homer for Freese against the Astros.
Yeah, nice little bounce back by the Astros in the previous half inning, but Cardinals are not going to rest on any laurels that they've picked up earlier in the game. Not quite getting to the tracks.
Get just above that pennant out there, the 97 pennant. Josh Fields warming up in the bullpen now, and it's John Jay. At strike 1. I agree with you. I think it's premature to put Yasiel Puig on the All-Star team. But what about the home run derby? They could involve him in that.
Yeah, now that's a thought. Maybe you can slice one inside the right field pole like last night.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He's done some things in his brief 20 games or so that nobody's ever done in baseball in their first 20 games.
He's been a phenomenon, no doubt about it. I think he needs to bring Vin Scully with him wherever he goes for the All-Star appearance.
That would help anybody. Ground ball first, Pena. He'll take it. 1 out. If they can tear Vinny away from his Twitter account.
That still amazes me, but good for him.
Well, you have joined the Legion's tweet, right?
You know what? I'm trying to get. I really need to. I apologize that I haven't dived in head first, but I'm going to start following your act. You've been pretty strong.
You'd be very bored if you did that.
No, I don't think so.
But Julia is prolific.
Is she?
And yeah, all the other on-air people at Comcast Sportsnet.
Oh, so you're saying I'm a slacker? That's what you're saying?
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay. That's good analysis on your part.
That's that buzzworthy analysis they have on Kevin's show.
Yeah. Hard hitting.
Strike to Cosma. Cosma 1 for 3 with an RBI. Now last night Kevin had Jeff Luhnow on the phone. He had some local sports talk experts as well, but Jeff was explaining the Astros personnel moves. So that was one of the first opportunities anybody had to hear the thinking behind those moves, even though we didn't know the other 2 moves that came today at that point. No balls, 2 strikes. And you know, people probably don't fully appreciate, because we don't either, Ash, all the intricacies in the movements within the farm system, just the mechanics of it. Okay, well, we sent up a third baseman, first baseman, DH type guy, and a shortstop, second baseman type guy. We've got to replace him. All right, we're getting Marwin Gonzalez back, so we replace one of them. How do we replace the other one? That kind of thing.
Which is why, for me, it can get tricky when you start talking about trades, and you know how you're going to deal with a guy that may have come up from the minor leagues. He gets involved in a trade. How do you fill that position on the minor league level and make sure that you're clicking on all cylinders there with your minor league clubs?
foul ball. And you've got George Springer being elevated now after tonight's AA All-Star game to Oklahoma City. So that could create some shifting among the outfielders. Jake Buchanan is coming up to be in the starting rotation. There are a lot of movements within any given season in the farm system.
Good for Jake Buchanan. What a season he's thrown together to this point. And for George Springer, I applaud the move. I think it's time to see what he can do. He's not a 20-year-old kid right now. I think he's in a position where he needs to move up.
Fouled straight back. We were starting to get into it earlier, but usually the third out happens, so that ends the conversation. But you know, Springer's been in what's termed a prospect league, the Texas League, so there would normally be considered harder throwers in the Texas League than there would, we'll say, in the Pacific Coast League. But now he probably will be facing more off-speed stuff, breaking stuff. So this could kind of complete the puzzle if he can prove that he can hit that type of pitching. But generally, a major league organization wants to see a guy stay at AA long enough to assure them that he has mastered that level of competition, which in many cases, against certain pitchers, could be tougher than the AAA level.
Like Yasiel Puig?
Yeah.
Make sure you stay there long enough, kid. Well, apparently he did.
Apparently so.
When the need arose, he was ready. And then that's what I've seen happen through the years, and why a lot of times I think you just don't know what you get when you bring a kid up. He may succeed, he may not. But I don't know that I'm a believer at all that if you bring him up too early, whatever that is, that it ruins a career.
3-2 now. To Pete Kozma.
Some guys have that ability to rise to the occasion. Yasiel Puig certainly is that guy right now for the Dodgers.
The way he hits the ball the other way, as you said, he's hitting these line drive homers to right field. He's a right-handed hitter. He's making diving catches. He's throwing out runners at first base.
Well, he's a dominant force.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out for round number 2. That's 12 strikeouts for the Astros pitching staff tonight. But that's 3 weeks. That's 3 great weeks, but it's 3 weeks.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I think it's one that we could all have slap us in the face come the final month or so of the season. We'll see how Yasiel Puig does. But if he does hit the skids, and he will to some extent, he's not going to keep hitting 450, whatever it is he's hitting. I think the experience is the great one. The best place to learn is at this level, if you can actually compete at this level.
Carpenter looks at ball 1. 11 runs on 12 hits for the Redbirds, 4 runs on 4 hits, 1 error for the Astros. Cardinals have stranded 5. The Astros have left 2. Carpenter takes it upstairs for a 2-ball, no strike count. In the Cardinals' first 50 games, they were 33-17. That matched their best 50-game start since the end of World War II. They also started 33-17 in 05. Mike Matheny's club kind of rankled by the 3 straight losses over the weekend to Texas, and really firing it up with the bats in the 7-run 4th inning tonight.
That's the second 3-game losing streak for the Cards this year. And heavens, when you look at teams that make the postseason, you'll find among them some 5, 6, maybe even 7-game losing streaks along the way. It happens.
Well, they also blazed a trail that hadn't been blazed for a while with their ERA in the first 50 games for their starting pitchers. Strike call makes it 3-2. Their starters in their first 50 games had a 2.64 ERA. The last team to do that in the first 50 games of the season was the 1942 Dodgers.
Lower the mounds, I say.
That's a strike. 3-2 now to Carpenter.
11-4 game, and these Cardinals have a way of looking like they're still trying to coax the walks.
Barnes comes in left center field. He calls for it and handles it. And it's 2 runs, 2 hits on the homer by Freese. The Redbirds in the 7th inning extend their lead. It's 11-4. And the Astros and Cardinals at their 7th inning stretch period. Meanwhile, we look ahead as the 2 longtime rivals continue their 2-game series in Houston tomorrow night. You can catch all the action. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Now let's take a look at tomorrow's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. It'll be Lance Lynn. He's off to a rather nice start. 10-1 on the year, 3.42 ERA, 4-0 lifetime against Houston with a 1.42 earning. That's a daunting task. Eric Bedard will take on the task 2-3, getting an extra day's rest here this time through. Last 4 starts, 2-1, 288 Ernie, and he's pitched very well.
Fans enjoying the evening here in air-conditioned comfort. Meanwhile, 24-year-old Seth Maness from Pinehurst, North Carolina, comes in. He has been something out of that Cardinal bullpen to the tune of 4-1, a 3.04 ERA, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts in 23 2/3 innings. Just a dynamic sinker, so the strikeouts will not really necessarily raise a lot of attention, but he is getting it done. And that's strike 1 to Ronnie Cedeno. And it's 0-2 from this 24-year-old player who was the 11th round draft choice in 2011.
The Astros hitters will go home and see sinkers in their sleep tonight.
You know that. Jake Westbrook in 7 innings allowed 4 hits, 6 innings rather, 4 hits and 4 runs. Got to third, Freese from behind the bag. Strong arm, 1 out. Westbrook had 2 walks. He struck out 3.
Speaking of strong arms, how about that throw by Cosma after the diving stop on the J.D. Martinez ball to end the 6th inning? Wow, very impressive.
It really was a very fine play by Cosma. Now Matt Dominguez, who is struck out and homered, comes around for the 3rd time. Maness works very quickly. There's ball 1. Here's the throw you talked about.
Now this is impressive on the diving stop, but watch the throw. As this little guy gets up, he brings it across the diamond.
So maybe they don't miss Rafael for a call that much after all.
You make that kind of play defensively and your pitchers will take you out to dinner all season long.
In the dirt, 1-2. Maness, when he was called up from AAA Memphis, showed that he was a double play machine, and he got 6 double plays in his first 11 1/3 major league innings. 1-2. Last year he was a Class A Palm Beach and Double-A Springfield. He was a starting pitcher. The Cardinals are not shy about promoting their young players after only a couple of minor league seasons. That strike 3 call. 2 outs.
Yeah, and I guess that's how I feel about things. I think if a player's really good, shows that he's above who he's playing with in the minor leagues, and he gets a shot to come to the big leagues because of need for the club, a lot of times those guys will succeed, and I've certainly had some teammates that have done that through earlier years.
Now Brandon Barnes, he's grounded out and walked and scored. Well, Charlie Kerfeld moved along pretty quickly once he got to the big leagues with success, didn't he?
Certainly did.
Second baseman Carpenter over to first. A quick 7th inning gets us on toward the 8th with the score 11-4 St. Louis.
Log on to csnhouston.com and click on In-Game Live to enhance your Astros experience via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz. In-Game Live only on csnhouston.com. Brownie.
Thanks, Julia. Josh Fields comes out of the bullpen for Houston. He'll be pitcher number 4. Travis Blackley in 1 inning allowed 2 hits, 2 runs with no walks. He struck out a man. Fields in 9 games has an ERA of 2.70.
Yet to allow a home run in his 6 2/3 innings. The right-hand hitters have struggled a bit at 2-11. Throwing strikes, big key for Josh Fields. He had struggles through his time in the minor leagues.
Now Tony Cruz is going to pinch hit for Yadier Molina and take over behind the plate for Molina. Molina was 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Cruz is his backup. Cruz at 138 has had just 29 at bats. He has 4 hits. Molina is something of an Iron Man. Cruz has started only 6 games. Strike one.
Yeah, get used to it with Yadier Molina as the lead catcher.
Boy, the Cardinals have had some kind of catching tradition, haven't they? Matheny before Molina. No balls, 2 strikes. Ted Simmons back in the 70s.
Yeah, Mike Matheny was a guy, and again, I'll say technically on blocking pitches in the dirt, the best I've ever seen, the most consistently outstanding. Just a great defensive catcher, a guy that didn't have a lot of great times offensively, but he could play on that defensive side of the game.
Fouled away by Cruz. Tony is 26 years old. He's from Palm Beach, Florida. Palm Beach Community College. He had been a first baseman, third baseman. He was converted to catcher in 08 after being drafted in the 26th round in 07.
It usually means, boy, this guy's got a good arm. Let's see if we can turn him into a catcher.
And St. Louis has had success in drafting and developing homegrown talent. It's 1-2. Cardinals in a run of games at American League cities. They'll be going on to Oakland and Anaheim on this road trip. Designated hitter is 40 years old. Began in 1973. Sports Illustrated had a very nice spread on the DH. The issue that came out last week. The shot off the glove of Pena, and that slows it down. It's on through into right field. A hard hit ball by Cruz for an opposite field single.
I don't know, maybe it's just Cardinal catchers. Josh Fields has come on with good stuff tonight, but on a tough pitch away, shoot it the other way. That appears to be the Cardinal way.
Well, former Astro Ty Wigginton is the pinch hitter for Carlos Beltran. Beltran was 2 for 4. He had a 2-run homer in the 6th inning. Wigginton at 176 has driven in 3. Ty's had 51 at bats with 9 hits. As a pinch hitter, he's 5 for 29. In the air, and Pena moves back a few steps and then over to foul ground. Run out. The Sports Illustrated article focused in the beginning of the article on Ron Blomberg, the first ever designated hitter, 1973. So Molina and the guys who have been grinding it get a few innings off.
When Yadier Molina talks, pitchers listen.
That's been the one constant for their pitching staff. Alan Craig 3 for 4. The work of Molina, and young pitchers say time after time in interviews that they don't even have to think about what to throw. That's all on Molina. A rock high to left field. That one's heading for the seats and left. And that is another mortar shot. It bangs off the wall. Karams down. A 2-run homer for Alan Craig. That's his 7th of the year. And Craig's 4th hit of the night. A 3 RBI game for Craig gets him to 61. At 13-4 St. Louis. That's 3 long balls. They've all been 2-run shots.
Well, he gets that leadoff fastball through the heart of the plate, destroys it. The Cardinals having a big night offensively. Yeah, I think when you're facing major league hitters, and it's hard to do in a game that's a blowout, but that first pitch cannot just be a gimme fastball. Hitters are too good.
Strike to Holiday. That might be a better way to go. The curveball to Fields. Holiday's 1 for 3 with a walk. Well, hitters in games like this one have an opportunity to pad their stats and just to get going. Ground ball out to second. They're not going to let an at bat go if they have an opportunity to get a good quality plate appearance and hit the ball hard, especially guys who've been frustrated maybe from the previous 3-game series and not getting many results. They see this as an opportunity to get things turned around.
With this score as it is tonight, some of the guys here in the heart of the order just hacking early. They're trying to do what you're talking about, pad their stats. But it's also been intriguing to watch guys like Pete Cosman look like they're working a walk while the Cardinals are way in front.
Yeah. Adams is 1 for 3 with a walk. Strike. Well, just as you talked about Matheny was so disciplined. He would come out to warm up the pitcher between innings and try to block every ball in the dirt.
Exactly right. And that's what caught my attention. I had seen that he was good during the games, and I wondered why he was so good. And if he was in between innings, as you say, warming up the pitcher, if he was in the bullpen, he had a routine, and he didn't vary from it. He was just perfect.
So then it stands to reason that a hitter who's trying to have that strike zone and keep the integrity of his strike zone rather than trying to reach 6 inches off the plate and whack one in a one-sided game might want to keep that integrity in a one-sided game.
You make a good point. The thing about it is, for a catcher, and I've said it many times, and I've never seen anybody but Mike Matheny be perfect in this regard. When you call a breaking ball, you know that if this pitch is headed toward the dirt, you're going to drop the knees and block the ball. And a lot of times, and I certainly include myself, you just don't get it done, and I don't know what the reason is, but the logic is there to get it done.
Rolled out to second. Altuve on to first. And 2-run score on the 2-run homer by Craig in the middle of the 8th. The Redbirds lead at 13-4.
The Astros finish their short 2-game series against the Cards tomorrow night at 7:10. Friday through Sunday, Albert Pujols and the LA Angels of Anaheim come to town, followed by a series with Evan Longoria and the Tampa Bay Rays. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to get your tickets right now.
Well, we have multiple changes for Mike Matheny. There is Brett Wallace in the on-deck circle. Altuve will lead it off, followed by Wallace and Castro here in the Astros 8th inning. Meanwhile, these wholesale changes have included 2 of the outfielders, Shane Robinson in right, Wiggins in left. New third baseman Daniel Descalzo takes over there for David Freese. Tony Cruz is the new catcher, and they have a new pitcher as well, Butler. So the Redbirds use pitcher number 3 of the night. Seth Maness in 1 inning, allowed no hits, no runs. He had a strikeout. Westbrook the starter in 6 innings, allowing 4 hits, 4 runs, walking 2, fanning 3. And it's Keith Butler with no decisions, an ERA of 2.61. Walked 7 and fanned 10 in 10 1/3 innings. Facing Altuve. Ball 1 for Jose, who singled in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. Butler misses there and falls behind him. 2 balls, no strikes. Keith, 24 years old, Bowling Green, Kentucky. 24th round pick in 09. You know, a lot of people here in Houston have paid particular attention to the Cardinal drafts because of Jeff Luhnow's involvement in that St. Louis organization. And we see a lot of lower round draft picks who have reached the big leagues and contributed for St. Louis. 3 balls and a strike. There's so much emphasis placed on the guys at the top of the draft. Ground ball, and Hosmer gets to his right in front of that one. There's the strong arm again. 1 out.
Like that arm at shortstop.
Yes.
Use of the footwork to plant the right foot and utilize the arm. rather than trying to throw on the move. And I'm sure he does on occasions, but this is beautiful. That's the way you do it. Footwork sets up good throw, and Kozma does it perfectly.
Good-looking young shortstop. We have not seen a lot of him. Brett Wallace is the batter. He ripped that 2-run triple in the 6th inning and scored. There's a strike to Wallace. Julie was talking about some adjustments he has made with his hands on the bat while he's been doing well at AAA Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I talked with Brett about that during batting practice, and he said he had kind of gotten back to where he used to be, a little higher hand position, and what he felt like that did was got him in a nicer rhythm. And he said it's really been about the rhythm, just finding that again.
Foul ball there. Makes it 1-2. Well, Brett has hit the ball hard to left center and left field. That's where his power has been throughout much of his professional career. And then last year he was making the adjustment of dealing with the inside pitch because pitchers didn't want to leave that ball out over the outer third of the plate for him, since he was so adept at dealing with pitches there. So now they work him in there, but he takes it for a ball. And that's the first thing now to making this set of adjustments. Going back to last year, he was really concentrating on that. First of all, knowing whether that pitch is inside or a strike when they come in on it. Taps it back to the pitcher. 2 outs for Butler. And then secondly, being able to turn on it when it is a strike and hit it hard to right field.
And that was the question I posed about Jason Castro early on, as he drove ball after ball to left field. What can he do if they pitch him in? Well, they started pitching him in, and what Jason Castro did was respond with some bullets to right field, a number of which left the ballpark, and that's the best way to respond. And so his response has been ideal.
That's turned him into a doubles machine. He's 0 for 2 with a sac fly tonight. Ball 1 to Castro. The American League had the edge in interleague play coming into this game tonight, 82-73.
What's the last year when the National League had the edge in interleague play?
Boy, it's been a while, hasn't it?
I believe it's been a long while.
Hector Ambrose is warming up for Houston. We'll have to do some work on that.
Yep.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Rays are leading the Blue Jays 5-1. They're in the top of the 9th at the Trop. Ambrose working there. Blue Jays' 11-game winning streak came to a close last night there. And if they lose this one, they're back to 500. But the Rays are 4 games over at 41-37 if they win it. And they will be here next week. 2 balls, 2 strikes for a 4-game set. The degree of difficulty of the Astros opponents certainly is picking up starting tonight over this next stretch of games, because then they have the home and home with St. Louis and Tampa Bay, and then also going to Texas on the next road trip. That's to left field. Wigginton backing and catching it on the track to end the 8th inning with a score of 13-4 St. Louis.
Covers the 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your story ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com. It is the Texas League All-Star Game tonight, and George Springer expected to be with the AAA club this week, but check out what he did. This is how you go out. He was 2 for 3, 2 homers, 3 RBI in the All-Star Game, and yeah, that'll get you the MVP award at the end of the night. How about that, guys?
What a spectacular night and spectacular first half for George Springer.
Yeah, Brownie, I was talking about when a guy succeeds at a given level of the minor leagues and shows that he's better than the other guys. I think that there are times like that when you can really take advantage. George Springer obviously is being sent up to AAA now, but he has distanced himself from the rest of the players. I think in that AA league, and so yeah, I think he's basically saying, look, I'm ready to move up, and maybe move up even more quickly.
His performance has dictated that call-up, certainly, and that's where he's headed, to Oklahoma City. And he'll be headed that way after this game tonight. Congratulations to Mr. Springer. Ninth inning comes up, and it's Hector Ambrose on the mound. 2-4 his record, a 5.10 ERA. In 30 innings, he's allowed 38 hits, walking 9, fanning 22. Daniel Descalzo is the batter. He looks at strike one. It's his first time to the plate in this ball game. Descalzo has had a .277 average for 130 at bats. That includes 3 homers, 22 runs batted in.
By the way, Brownie, to the question about last time the National League won a matchup of interleague play, 2003.
Boy, bouncing behind first. That's a foul ball.
Now, to be fair, 2004 was dominated by the American League. One more win than the National League, but that is the fact. Since 2004, it's been all the American League.
That's a long run. Astros post-game live coming up, presented by MD Anderson. Marius Payton, Eric Young.
I wonder if EY can get fired up about this game.
He gets fired up about anything. He gets fired up about a tuna sandwich. 1-2.
He means that in a good way, EY.
Yeah. The Orioles beat the Indians 6-3. Chris Davis hit his 28th home run.
Yikes.
The end of a 4-game losing streak for Baltimore. Chris Tillman won it. He's 9-2. Swing by Descalzo and a strikeout for odd number 1.
Yeah, but at least Chris Davis isn't hitting much for batting average.
Boy, that's a monster year. Jim Johnson got his 27th save. Justin Masterson, the loser for the Tribe. Edward Mujica, the Cardinal closer, is warming up. John Jay's the batter. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Edward probably didn't pitch in the Texas Rangers series, so he might need to throw an inning tonight. That's ball 1. The Big Bad Pirates got a run in the first at Seattle. They lead it 1-0. Jeff Locke's on the mound. Pirates are 46-30. Altuve picks up the grounder, gets it over to Pena for out number 2. The Cardinals do have some company with the Pirates and the Reds in the NL Central.
Those Pirates the last couple of years had very good first halves. Now, I don't know if the numbers matched what they're doing this year from last year, but they just had disastrous second halves. I don't, like anybody else, obviously know what awaits the Pirates in the second half this year, but boy, they've been a good club.
They have the league's ERA leader on the mound in Jeff Locke, 2.01 tonight in Seattle. Pete Kozma's the batter.
I believe the Pirates are the National League leader in ERA.
Well, the Cardinals are at 3.21.
There you go. Let's see. It could have been starting pitching. I need to check that one out.
Yeah, but they're close. They're 3.22. They're 0.01 behind St. Louis. Atlanta tied with St. Louis, 3.21 overall ERA coming into this game tonight. That's where the best teams usually reside, near that ERA lead. No balls and 2 strikes. Reds and Athletics are playing in Oakland. They're scoreless in the top of the second inning. Tommy Malone is going for Oakland in that game.
Yeah, Brownie, it was neither the overall or the starters for the Pirates. They're close, but not quite the Cards.
Well, close is enough to make your point. That bullpen's been dynamic, too. Well, they just have a shutdown bullpen. Jason Grilli has 26 saves, and that is the leader by 5 in the National League. 1-2 the count. Braves lead at Kansas City in the bottom of the 7th. It's 4-3. Jason Hayward hit his 6th. Chris Medlin on the mound, pitching well. Rolled up the middle, off the mound, and on through into center field for a 2-out single by Cosma. Cosma's second hit. 15 St. Louis hits.
Strange night for the Cardinals. 13 strikeouts for the hitters. But nobody would suggest they struggled with the bats.
No. Carpenter had the big 3-run triple. He's 1 for 5. But that one hit did a lot of damage in the 7-run 4th inning. This one slicing into the seats for strike 1. White Sox 4, Mets 3 at Chicago, bottom of the 7th inning. Phillies and Padres are scoreless in the first at San Diego. Charlie Manuel exploded at a reporter at a news conference recently.
Well, that was out of character.
Well, there are stories suggesting that Ryan Sandberg is in place to succeed him whenever the time is. He's the third base coach now in Philadelphia. It's a strike to Carpenter, and it's 0-2.
I wonder if that makes for tense times on the staff.
Well, it might. You know, the recent tone of the stories is that Manuel probably will last the season, and then he might feel some pressure to step aside, or the Phillies could make a move on their own and install Sandberg. That bounces, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, the question is, and always is it a managerial issue or is it a perceptual issue?
Charlie, of course, has always been a great advocate of hitting. Presided over a lot of the tremendous hitters in the game in his time as hitting coach and manager. Dominic Brown hit his 20th tonight for the Phillies. And they lead it 3-2 now in the bottom of the 3rd at San Diego. But they just really have not been hitting the team generally. Struck him out, and Ambrose gets number 2 to send this game to the bottom of the 9th inning with the Cardinals way out in front. There's the Ambrose strikeout pitch. St. Louis has plenty of offense tonight, 13-4. On Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. 13-4, St. Louis leading it here at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston, Texas. Game 1 of a 2-game series. Pitcher number 4 for Mike Matheny is the closer, Edward Mujica. Mujica coming in a non-closing situation with an ERA of 1.97 ERA, and he's 21 for 21 in saves, actually.
Yeah, you see this happen sometimes where the closer needs some work. The Cardinals just came out of getting swept 3 with the Texas Rangers, so your closer doesn't find a way into those ball games, and now in a blowout game he's got to come out and get his tossing in.
Well, it's been amazing what he's done for this club, because in the past he's been a setup man. Last year with Miami and St. Louis, and he was traded mid-season for Zach Cox. He had 2 saves in 8 save opportunities. He came into this season with 4 career saves in 17 opportunities. Of course, as a setup man, there would be more blown save chances than guys would like to have, because they don't get saves. They only get blown saves or holds. There's ball 1 to Chris Carter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk, but nonetheless, to be 21 of 21 without having that kind of closer's experience is pretty remarkable for Mujica this year.
And the Cardinals have 23 saves as a club, so just 2 outside of what he's put together.
He is 29 years old. Now back by Carter. That makes it 1-2. Keith Butler in 1 inning, no hits, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. Mujica came up with Cleveland. They signed him as a free agent in 2001. He's from Valencia, Venezuela. He's been with the Padres and Marlins as well. Foul back by Carter. That keeps it at 1-2. Mujica has also been the most efficient stopper in the majors so far, averaging 12.7 pitches per inning. But then you saw also the 27 strikeouts and 1 walk in 29 2/3 innings. Crazy numbers for this first-time closer.
Yeah, he's not playing around. He gets in the strike zone and finishes there.
Carter fouls it back. Mujica against the Astros has been in 11 ball games. He's worked 9 2/3 innings with an ERA of 6.52.
Have you ever heard of a guy that is pitching a lot that has a whip of .65?
No. That's a strike for strike 3 on Carter.
That is what Mujica's dealing with right now. That tells you he really, I mean, he's averaging putting a base runner on about every 2 innings. Just a bit above that.
That is an absolutely crazy number. Mark Krause is the pinch hitter now, batting for Pena. Krause trying for his first major league hit. Got a chance to start a game at Wrigley Field over the weekend, and he was 0 for 5 overall in that series. Mark hits one up the right field line, and that's his first major league hit. It's into the corner. He heads for second base. First major league hit for Krause is a double.
Yeah, it's a great moment. And you'll always be able to reflect back. Yeah, I remember that game like it was yesterday. Wow, we were, oh, that's right. It was a blowout. We were getting hammered, but always good to get the knock.
Cole Porter will toss that baseball aside for safekeeping. Rex Jones has the ball secured for Mark Krause. Now watch this. Okay, there's the authenticator. So it's in safe hands now.
Wow.
And you know that was game used, and that was his first major league hit.
That never used to, there was no version of that. I don't know when this all began. You would know much better than I would, but you got handed a baseball in the dugout at some point and had to use great faith to believe that was the ball that you got your first hit with.
J.D. Martinez the batter. But it's a little disappointing though, isn't it? Check swing call there, goes J.D.'s way, 1-1, because usually his teammates like to mess with the guy who got his first hit and substitute a ball very quickly with sleight of hand and toss that substituted ball up into the stands.
Yeah, it'll flip up into the seats as if it was your ball and you panic while you're on base.
There's a fair ball, and out at first is the call. Now that is rather strange. Tim McClellan took a while to make that call on the throw from Mujica, who was lying down, to Matt Adams. That didn't look like an out call to me. Let's see it here, Ash.
Yeah, there's the grab, and now the attempted tag. Boy, that's pretty bang at the bag, huh?
Check it out.
I don't even know if that ball stayed fair.
Might
Tough
not
to tell. Yeah, you can't see the footwork there. Really bang.
Mujica threw up a roadblock in his leg.
I think J.D. beats it.
Looked like it.
Yeah, J.D. beats that play.
That's why Bo Porter went out. Sure, he did go out of the runner's box, but you got a player extending his leg there in front of you, so to allow yourself to be tripped, I don't think so.
Yeah, if I stay in the box, that means I should step right on him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think J.D. got the raw end of that deal.
It's out number 2. Krause taking third for Ronnie Cedeno. Well, it's a 13-4 game. That's a 13-5 game now as Cedeno comes through. RBI number 12 as Mark Krause scores his first major league run.
Good for Mark Krause and good for Brett Wallace tonight. The two in a high five each other. Maybe a couple of left-handed bats that can be useful. And let's not forget Ronnie Cedeno, who's going to get a chance to play a little bit more at shortstop now.
That's 6 hits for the Astros, 5 runs. Matt Dominguez has a homer, and there's ball 1 to him. Homered a couple strikeouts for Matt tonight. Mujica deals, and that's a ball. Make it 2-0.
You know, the Astros, with putting 2 runners on base here in 1 inning against Mujica, have gone way above the norm.
Yes, they have. Pop back and out of play for a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Mujica coming into this season as a major leaguer had pitched 374 innings, walking only 63. Another pop-up comes back and out of play. It's 2-2 to Matt Dominguez. Brandon Barnes on deck. The Astros were 5-2 on their last homestand. Cardinals serving notice here as they are about to snap their 3-game losing streak, it would appear. Competition level has gone up a few notches. 3 balls, 2 strikes the count. Jake Westbrook in line for win number 4 of the year. Daniel goes, and it's ball 4. Dominguez takes a walk. His 10th of the year. 3rd walk for Cardinal pitching tonight. And Mike Matheny's coming out. He doesn't want to leave Mujica in this game too long to overextend him for a possible appearance tomorrow night. Michael Blazek warming up in the bullpen. 18 pitches, and that'll be it for Mujica tonight. It'll be the youngster Blazek coming in with the score 13-5 St. Louis. Back in a moment.
Cardinals, Astros rallying here. Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sports Net Central 7 days a week at 6, 10, and midnight on Comcast Sports Net, your home of your home teams. Browning.
Thanks, Julia. 13-5 ball game here. Bottom of the 9th inning. Second major league appearance coming up for Michael Blazek. He's 24 years old from Las Vegas. 35th round draft choice in 07 by the Redbirds in the minors. 31 1/3 innings with those numbers. Second game of the Cardinals coming up.
Yeah, this is it's kind of a tricky situation for a skipper. You don't want your closer throwing just a ton of pitches in an outing where you're just trying to get him a little bit of work so you can be ready for upcoming games where you need him in the 9th inning. And yet, that closer has a chance, as he leaves a couple of runners on base, to have the next guy come on and just mess up what has gone on statistically. So you can bet that right now there's some close watching being done in that Cardinal dugout.
Brandon Barnes is 0 for 2 with a walk. Gets a breaking pitch. It's strike 1 from Blazek. Blazek was at AA Springfield and AAA Memphis last year. Cardinals have remade their bullpen this season. It's no balls, 2 strikes. Mike Matheny's club is 3-4 against the American League teams this year. Ground ball wide of third for Descalso, foul. Redbirds have set a very nice pace in the NL Central where they're 20-10. They've cleaned up on Milwaukee, going 8-2 against the Brewers, and they've won 6 of 9 from the Reds. Lynn shoots for his 11th win of the year tomorrow night here. The Astros counter with lefty Eric Bedard upstairs, and it's 1-2. Tim McClellan with the check swing call. Morgan Ensberg was on the radio yesterday. He's now coaching at the Astros Class A Lancaster minor league club. And he personally guaranteed that 10 of those players on the Lancaster team this year will reach the big leagues.
Wow.
Into shallow right field, and that will be Shane Robinson catching it for the final out of this one. Now the Cardinals with 15 hits, 13 runs, win it for Jake Westbrook. He goes to 4-2. Lucas Harrell 5-8 with the loss. Final score: St. Louis 13, Houston 5.